Jon Pinkus joins me now, employment lawyer and partner at Samfiru Tumarkin. Thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Good to be here.
A lot has sort of unfolded over the last hour here. I want to get your thoughts here on now what the Premier is offering, rescinding what that, the law that bans the strike and to get the workers back into the classroom here. Your take on here on sort of where things are now pivoting in these, I'm going to say, stalled negotiations in hopes of getting things back to the bargaining table.
Well, this is certainly going to be viewed probably by CUPE as a step in the right direction, but I imagine the next question that's going to be from CUPE is, well, what happens when we reach an impasse again? Are we going to go to binding arbitration? Are we going to be able to strike again? And if we do need to strike, how are they going to handle it next time? Because they're still, as I understand it, quite far apart in the negotiations. So this may be kind of a stopgap solution to deal with the current crisis, but is it a solution to the impasse? I would think not.
And what we're also still waiting for is the Labour Board's ruling on the legality of this strike by CUPE. CUPE is saying this isn't a strike, but it's a political protest. From that perspective as well, because the Labour Board's sort of been put in an unprecedented situation, they say, as well, considering what the government's initial action was with the notwithstanding clause.
Right. So I think that the Labour Board's decision is pretty well inevitable. This is most likely going to be determined in a legal strike. The law makes it very clear. If we look how strikes are defined under the Labour Relations Act, this very likely meets that definition. I suppose the only wrinkle would be that there are certain school boards that are closed. So is it a work stoppage if the school boards have closed preemptively? But overall, I expect it's going to be determined to be a strike, an illegal strike.
And if that's the case, then what are the repercussions if this continues?
Well, the repercussions financially are quite serious for the union. We're talking about millions upon millions of dollars of fines. But the union has other measures available. And as we can see, there are other public unions that are saying they're going to join and support. And so I would expect that's probably what the Ford government is worried about. Are we going to have our entire province come to a standstill? And I suspect that's where this gesture is coming from.
Yeah, as we're waiting, as we mentioned there, CUPE is set to give a press conference at 11 o'clock, their response to what the Premier is saying. But we're also getting a sense that there'll be much more, perhaps, that they're going to put forward on this. What are you going to be looking for now? Because in coupling with all this, we know the secondary teachers union, they are supposed to be, I guess, getting to the table to negotiate their contract. Teachers being mandated to continue to work during this strike. What are you going to be watching for right now in the next, I guess, over the course of today and the week?
Well, I'm going to be looking at how this unfolds in terms of how they ultimately solve the impasse. Are they going to come up with some kind of creative solution that maybe could be applied to the difficult bargaining that might be ahead with the other unions?
Right.
And are we going to kind of denormalize the use of the notwithstanding clause, which I think is what has gotten everyone's attention, both on the union and the management side? I think one thing that can be agreed on is that this was very, very unusual. And is this how we're going to see difficult bargaining end, with the province kind of just exercising the nuclear option?
All right, a lot good's going to be unfolding today. Indeed, as we mentioned, in less than an hour's time, CUPE will be giving that press conference. Jon, it's good to have you get your analysis on this. Jon Pinkus is an employment lawyer and partner at Samfiru Tumarkin. Thank you again for this, Jon.
Thank you.